I'll share my screen. And thanks to those who are joining here. We just had introductions from 10, 11 facilitators of all different networks. And we're thrilled that we have such a great group here. So all of us is smarter than any one of us. So please feel free to ask your questions, share your insight on what you see, how this compares to other things that you've seen. We're all here to learn from each other. And Heidi Nobantu-Saul is an expert facilitator who's been on QiqoChat for the past year. This is her third large event with the same group, the Internet Identity Workshop. And this is a technical audience. They talk about technical details of how to manage people's privacy online. It's a passionate community that's been meeting in open space. It's a type of conference, for those that are not familiar with open space, for 16 years. And they meet every 6 months. They meet in person, and for the last 3, this is the third that they've done on QiqoChat. They had to do it because where they're going to meet in California, the pandemic was happening, so they shifted online. And Heidi was one of the first innovators post-pandemic, right at that cusp. So we really started moving Kiko forward, and it's changed a lot in the past 12 months to meet the needs of facilitators. So it's a customizable space. You can see who is here right now. You can click on people's profiles, and we can see a map view of where people are coming in from. And we try to surface information. So 461 people registered. We'll take a moment to load that map. We try to surface as much information as possible so that people can make their own choices about where to move inside the event space. I'm not going to wait for the map, but I'll just go into the event. And an open space workshop is one where you come with a compelling invitation, and whomever's called by that invitation, those are the right people to show up. You try to get the whole system in the room so that you can see all aspects of a problem or challenge that a group of people is facing together. And so this one is about privacy online, managing identity online. And here, this is where they meet at the Computer History Museum in Palo Alto, California. So I'm just going to be talking from my perspective of what I like about how Heidi designed this. So because this is a group that has met over and over again in the same space, she had a picture of that space to make them feel instantly comfortable, and then some branding at the top. She had a graphic artist that she paid to do some work here to add a little bit of flair to the spaces and put the logo there. So this is how the space works. On the left-hand side are all the different breakout rooms, and we are now in the opening circle, or the main room, and you can rename these rooms. So now that we're in the main room, we have several tools on the right. This is a Google Doc here, and I'll scroll down so you can see that Google Doc. And you could put anything there. This is a welcome, and it explains a little bit of how to navigate the platform. And across the top are other tools. So at the core, you could see people jumping around too between rooms. As people move down, you'll see their profile photo get added here and removed. All the red icons show you who is on video. And that's one of the advantages is even before you jump into the Zoom meeting, you can see who is in the Zoom meeting. And you can see this one has all of these people plus 24 more in that session. The neat thing about this event is 3 days, over 400 people registered, and it's around the clock. They're not meeting for 24 straight hours. They have some blocks of time that work well for different regions of the world. Here is I'm going to click over to day 3, agenda, and we'll see how they organize the open space. So in open space, you set the spaces and people post the topics. So here, this is session number 20, since it started 2 days ago. The start time she posted in a few different time zones. And here are the breakout spaces, space A, B, C, D, E. And the magic of open space is that your participants choose the topics and they take responsibility for how the conference goes. So they post their topic. These are technical topics, so you're looking at acronyms that probably are not familiar. They're certainly not familiar to me, but this is the technical audience, so these acronyms of UDDI and UDDR, that means something to them. So someone takes the topic and they say, I really want to talk about this, and they post it there for breakout space D at this time. And then we scroll down, we'll see breakout space A through P again, but at the next hour block, and then the next hour block. And so she's using Google Sheets here, and you could format Google Sheets however you like and embed it into Kiko. So these are all the tools that you can embed. Here's day 2 and day 1. So different agendas for every day. Here's engagement guidelines. So I'll scroll down and you can see another Google Doc that just helps people understand how to get the most out of the space, how to be fair and kind and considerate to each other. I'm not sure what we're going to find in all of these because I haven't looked through all of them. So it's kind of discovering for me too. So here it looks like a list of demos that at a certain time during the event, looks like there's demo hour on day 1, demo hour on day 2. So people are sharing in a peer-to-peer knowledge way. If you are used to liberating structures, the term is shift and share, or just poster sessions. So their sponsors or peer-to-peer knowledge sharing is happening in a lot of the demo hours. We could briefly scroll down. And by the way, I'm just going to keep talking. Feel free to interrupt me to get a question in. I'll stop talking and then answer all your questions. Oh, yes, go ahead.
There is a question in the chat. Did the organizer prepare all the Google Docs for notes in advance?
Yes, Heidi did. Heidi worked. So first I'll say this conference, just because it's online, does not mean that they reduced the price a lot. In fact, they're finding more people are attending this and they're able to charge their regular prices. With their regular prices, they're able to hire the same great team they use to facilitate the event. So here, they've got Dunya, who is a fantastic person who is helping hold the space, doing customer support, tech support. So she stays in the Grand Hall chat space and she is there to answer questions. So they're paying for her time. She's in Morocco and is fantastic. Then also in the documentation center, now to get to your question, here's Lisa. So the people behind the scenes. So Lisa's in charge of gathering all the notes, and she's the one that worked with Heidi, who's the open space facilitator, to create all of the Google documents. So all of these docs, there's space P, so that's about 15 letters times 30 different sessions. So 15 times 30, 450 Google Docs. There's a way on QiqoChat you can auto-generate those Google Docs. And if you come to an open office hour, I'll put the link in the chat. We can show you how to do that. But they generated it on Google Drive. So create all the Google Docs on Google Drive and then copy the links and put them into QiqoChat. So
would you like to also share, Lucas, the view when you can see all the docs in one page?
Oh, okay. That's another good one. So because today, there's going to be something like 50 pages. That page is going to load very slowly, but I'll show you how it works. Click Admin Controls as the administrator or the facilitator, and you can set the topics for all the breakout rooms. The topics are listed here in black. And so if you want, you could put the session titles into those spaces. However, there's so many sessions around the clock, they chose not to do that for all the sessions. And then here's the question that Sandra had asked. How do we view all the notes across all the rooms? And you can click this View All Breakout Notes, and you'll see one web page that has Google Doc after Google Doc listed. That is for you as the organizer to be able to see how well each room is doing in taking notes. Some other tools that are here, if you wanted to set a timer, you could do that. But in open space, often people do not set timers. If you're using liberating structures, then that would be more common to set a timer. You can send a sound or these notifications at the different breakout spaces. And here, Heidi is using this banner at the top for a quick notice to say what's changing, what's new. Platform sponsors, more Google Docs. Here's more about open space. So this is the essence, the heart of open space. On this call here, we had the pleasure of being with Barry Owen, who's very deep into open space, and Francois and others on this call. So these are expert open space facilitators who've been doing it a lot longer than I have. But this is the core, the heart of open space. And it runs on passion, where someone says, I want to talk about this topic, and then the responsibility for hosting the topic, holding the space to make sure everyone gets a chance to speak. And if it's important to take notes, making sure that notes are taken. So because they're Google Docs, no one is stuck with being the note taker. It's almost everyone's responsibility. in a group like this, they generate hundreds of pages of notes over 3 days because they're literally thinking together. These are not presentations. They don't have the answers, and often they don't even have the questions. So through the conversation, the questions for the next day come out. So Heidi will host an opening session every morning. And every morning, that's when everyone says, "Hi, my name's Lucas, and I want to talk about this topic." And they post their topic. Let's see, we have another question in the chat. Can you use Otter AI? Britt, great, thanks for that question. So Otter AI is a great tool for transcription, and there are others also. You can use Otter AI if you use your own Zoom meeting. The Zoom meetings provided by QiqoChat, you can have up to 100 of them, so you don't have to buy them from Zoom. They have some strengths and weaknesses. One is you can't connect Otter AI translation to them yet, transcription to them. But for people that want transcription, they ask us for one of the other Zoom meetings we have, and we plug those in. So Zoom Business is for multi-language translation. Otter AI is for transcription, and there are several tools like that. And I think a real cutting edge of conferencing is helping people bypass the boundary of languages by being able to read in captions or hearing in another language. Zoom is very good with that. Kiko's job is to connect all these Zoom meetings together along with all of the Google Docs. So I'm going to pause here and just also let anyone who wants to say a question, toss in a question. Plenty more to talk about. I'm excited that you're all here, and we'll just keep showing you the space.
Lucas, two things. There is a question in the chat, but why don't you also speak about Wordly and Verbit and some of these other tools for translations? And then I'll ask the question in the chat after you finish.
All right, thanks, Sandra. So Wordly is a very exciting one where it has AI, artificial intelligence, listening to the speaker in Zoom, and it translates that via writing into 18 languages simultaneously. It's great for a lot of the international events that we've started to see. Now, because people can get online, a lot more international events are happening because that's where you really get the advantage of not having to fly everyone in. And with international events come an accessibility challenge of how do you make the programming accessible to people in different languages. And so that's where you can use something like Wordly to embed the automated generated captions. It can go right into the page here, and everyone can choose their own language. Sandra, I think there was a second half to that question too.
Verbit is different, but there's another question in the chat. I'll ask that now.
Okay.
So Lucas, have you reduced the font size in your browser, or is there a way to do so for the default size globally for all attendees?
Yes, so right now I'm on a Mac, and I'm going to press Command+, and it's going to make things bigger. So I'm zooming in here. You can see this is an image, so it stays the same size. So that's something I can do as an individual to zoom in and out. If you're on a Windows machine, Windows computer, it would be Control plus and minus to zoom in and out. And that's just going to be on your computer. If you wanted to change the experience for everybody, you can edit what's called the cascading style sheets, the CSS. So you can, that's where you can put in a background color, and that's where you can make things bigger and smaller, change the look of the buttons to go with these crisp edges, put borders around them if you're interested. Here I see QiqoChat. This is an interesting tool that is available for anybody who asks for it. It's available for free, and we're just now finishing our testing of it. So this is a way to get one-to-one chat messaging and group chat messaging. So here you could see the conference. It's a group chat tool, just pretty easy. You type in here and you press send. But the power of QiqoChat is that it allows people to have these one-to-one conversations going. So if I click on Phil, I can start talking to him directly through chat. And then now you're chatting even though the other person is in a different Zoom meeting. If they're not in the same Zoom meeting or same Zoom breakout room, you can never have that chat. So this is a system-wide chat to keep everybody connected. And then as we start thinking about a conference that lasts longer in time, that happens over multiple days, or you want people to start collaborating ahead of time, this is great because even when they're not in Zoom, they can be speaking with each other, they can be sharing ideas and learning from each other.